This was the last time that you read your last advice. This was the last time that you will fuck this down. All the days we spent have been a goddamn waste. But I can't over it. So take your perfect eyes and shove them up your head. What the fucking regrets? Look deep in my eyes. Can you see the light?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 8th episode of Funky TV's VoiceIt Show. I hope everyone is doing well. Ciao. Great to see you all. Welcome. Today is a very special day, as you already know that we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Brooke Lizotte. But before we bring on our guest, let me bring on my two very pretty co-hosts. Please welcome Ms. Funky Almedina and Ms. Becca. Hey,
Oh,
Hello.
thank you for the
what's
compliment.
up?
Yeah.
Sure. How are you?
Excellent.
Uh,
I'm really excited for today's episode because our special guest is very special.
especially,
It's
I
true.
like that. Our special guest is really special.
Exactly.
My exactly. And how are you doing, Becca?
I'm doing very good. Um, yeah, this guy is incredibly amazing. I don't.
Incredible.
Yeah.
This guest
I
is
mean,
special because he's
he's.
very special. This guy is incredible because he's very incredible.
Yeah,
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. No,
amazingly
so
amazing.
awesome. So, without any further ado, you wanna say hi to our viewers? You both.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for watching. We're excited. Thank you all. Yeah, thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys. We love you. And yeah, this is all for you.
Yes,
That's true. Funk is
amazing.
right. Thank you so much for
Yes,
all of you that are watching and have been with us since the first episode. That means a lot to us. So, yeah, thank you all.
yeah. It's eighth episode. Can't believe. Ah, fantastic. So, without any further ado, let me introduce our today's special guest, Mr. Brooke Lizotte. He is a classically trained pianist. He is a synthesist. He is an incredible artist, as Becca has already said. He has worked with phenomenal artists, Grammy Award winners, Academy Award winners, and we were just discussing backstage about a story of a great artist known as Bob Marley. And trust me, I was gonna lose track of time because I almost forgot that we have to go live. And he is an incredible artist. He has many movies and TV series like Shots Fired, Sex and the City 2, The Canyon, to his credit. And he has worked with Jennifer Hudson and Randy Meisner from the Eagles, and many such huge names. And it's really a huge honor to have him on our show today as our special guest, and we couldn't thank him much for being with us today and accepting our invite. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Brooke Lizotte.
Hi.
Hey,
So
hello there.
Hello,
Hello, sir.
welcome.
am I
How are
blushing yet?
you?
Jeez, how well you stood in it. What the heck? Oh, this is so
Oh,
fun.
God.
Thank you for inviting me on.
Oh, sure. Thank you so much. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. I'm great. It's a chilly
Great.
day here in Seattle, and
Okay.
I was asking you folks where you are. And
Uh-huh.
Rebecca, you're in Brazil. Funky, you're in
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarajevo. And
And
now,
I
where are
am,
you? What city?
yes, I'm in Solapur in India.
Hmm.
And yes, so it's
Well, here
it's
we are.
it's a small city. It's sorry,
Oh, I just say here we are, and look at this. This is just
and
amazing.
here we are. Yes, yes, exactly. Four of us from completely different parts of the world, and is music indeed is a universal language,
Yes, yes, it is.
bringing us all together.
So
So,
that makes me
uh,
bilingual because I speak
ah,
English and music.
exactly.
Exactly.
How wonderful.
And you guys, you're
See
all,
that?
I bet, how many languages do you speak?
Okay, Funky, you wanna go first?
Yeah,
Wow.
sure.
Yeah.
So I speak Bosnian, English, German, a little bit of French, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it. But like the funny thing about Bosnian language and like the place where I live, these countries, we have like 5 languages and they're all the same, but like still different. Like there's like
Mm-hmm.
Croatian, Serbian, Bosnian, Montenegrin, Albanian, and they're all the same language. So I can say that I know how to speak like 10 languages. But yeah, it's really like 4 or 5 languages.
Wow.
Yeah,
Uh-huh. Becca.
you can.
Wait,
Oh,
who?
sure.
Who? Can
Okay. Okay, you
go.
go. Who? I, you.
No, no,
I,
yeah.
you. I, you.
Go first, go first.
Okay, so I speak first of all my mother tongue, which is Marathi. Then I speak Hindi, which is our national language. Then I speak Urdu. I speak English. I speak I don't speak, but I can. I do know a little bit of Sanskrit. I speak C++, Python, JavaScript because I'm a software engineer, so I know these programming languages.
Yeah.
So yeah, so spoken languages I can speak about 5 to 6, and one universal language that is music and love.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. Becca.
Yeah.
Well, my first language is Portuguese, and I speak English, and I'm also learning Spanish. But the language that I like the most is the music language.
Wonderful.
That's
as you,
that's
Brooke.
Yes, it is. It is the one. Those are the two I speak, and thankful for both of them.
that's right. Amazing, amazing. So uh, you know, so let's get started and let's talk about your musical journey and how did it begin and
Mhm.
when did you start playing piano?
Well, okay. Now let's see.
Yeah,
She's keeping
that's
track.
one. That's one.
It
Count.
seems to be it seems to be like a page marker where I'll use that to if I'm thinking and looking for something to say. That's how I preface it. Um,
Yeah.
So I started playing when I was, I think 5 or 6. And I hear my mom tells the stories. I don't remember learning. I mean, I don't remember starting because it was a while ago. And but I remember learning pieces, but I don't actually remember the literally starting to play. And my mom used to tell the story of me walking up to the piano back when it was like up here and I'd bump my head, or even before then, before I could reach the piano. And I'd reach up, she'd see me reaching up and plucking out melodies.
Wow.
And so she just figured that she should track down a piano tuner. And she found an old guy up in the University District, not far. I grew up in Seattle. And off we went. And I just clicked with the old guy just wonderfully. And I studied with him until I was just about out of high school. So 5, 10, I don't know, 13 years. And he gave, so we dove into Beethoven and Chopin and the Romantics, you know, the Debussy and just beautiful pieces. He would play things for me, and if again, when a kid, that's a young kid. I mean, I look at 5, 6, 7-year-olds now, and gee, that's really young. And he would play stuff for me, and if he saw that it got my attention, then he'd put it aside and we'd work on it. And if it bored me, I was looking out the window or something, we wouldn't. He'd put it over here. And so that led to what really grabbed me was Beethoven. And he saw that. So we learned, so he would go on the dramatic side. We worked up some Grieg, some Chopin, the powerful stuff, Debussy. So I look at my material now, the music I write now, and it totally reflects that. I mean, I know Beethoven, but it reflects that drama and that power, that passion.
Yeah.
And then there's the other side of me that is surreal and abstract and beautiful, and that comes from the Satie and from the Debussy and some Chopin, but certainly the prior. And I guess we're all moved by what we grew up with and love, and then we emulate it even without trying to. You're probably the same as an artist, as a painter. Aren't we moved by who we loved growing up,
That's right. And
so I've been thankful ever since that I've had I've been on the piano ever since. So let's see, I'm 68 years old, so I've been playing for 63 years.
that's cool.
That's a long time.
That's
and I still have to
cool.
practice.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I still practice every day because Lord knows, I mean, I just have to. I am nowhere near where I want to be. I mean, it is every day. As the further I go, the further I realize there is to go. So it's it.
That's a really, really, really important statement there. Also the painting behind you, there's a story related to that too. Would you like to tell us about?
I was in high school, which I was I don't know, 16 or 17, and it was back in the 60s. And that's I was taking art class, and I'd done a lot of paintings, and I fell into this. That's a self-portrait, and it was I was inspired and there's an artist at the time called Andy Warhol, and he was
you drew it.
It's a painting. It's an acrylic, a combination oil acrylic, and I was moved by the pop art that Andy Warhol was making at the time. He did the famous Campbell soup cans and the pictures of Marilyn Monroe that were 2-tone and 3-tone and these opposite colors, so it was really splashy. And it was just cool. It was real popular at the time. And so that's my little homage to Warhol. And I've kept it. I was telling you earlier that when you when you folks get something that you love, or you make something that you just really dig, you know, or somebody gives you something, or whatever that is just so special for you, try and hang on to it, because 50 years from now you'll be glad you did, because it'll mean something to you. It'll take you back. And I have, this is my little altar behind me. There are things on it that I grew up with. The earliest one, I was 10 years old. That statue.
Right.
That's a statue my brother gave.
Wow.
And there's just little things. And I was 17 or something when I painted that thing, and all the little gadgets up there. It just looks like a pile of stuff, something. But it's my little kind of memory altar, you know. So I keep it. It's a chore to dust. I have to dust it all the time. But,
so you didn't bring a bongo with you?
Hold on, don't go away.
We miss him though. Ladies and gentlemen, you're about to see someone really, really special. Really special. Here it comes. Oh, hello. Oh, hello.
Hi.
How are you? How are you?
Who's talking?
I am.
I guess we have two special guests today.
Who's
We
talking?
have two special guests today. Hello, Mr. Bongo. Here is yeah. It's somebody. It's somebody. Let me put it.
Would you move over? Okay.
That is so sweet.
This is Bongo.
That is just amazing. Hello.
And he's cool.
Oh yes. He's cool.
And he's my little guy. And when I travel, and in the years I traveled through Europe playing with Dan Reed, I take him with me all the time. And he was like became the band mascot.
He's your travel buddy.
Oh yeah, and the drummer Ikas, who's just this hellacious drummer, he's so good. He
wow.
This became his little guy too. See the bongos?
Yeah.
That's where he got his name. See bongo.
Wow. I wish I had one.
Say bye. I'm gonna put you down.
Bye, Bongo.
See you.
Yes, so I was showing you something. Some people maybe haven't seen it, but you guys have. But I'm gonna show it again. This is what I've done like a couple of weeks ago, maybe.
Funky, you wanna go ahead and describe it?
So, well, you see, this is Sir Brooke and Bongo, and I don't know. I was just really inspired by Brooke and Bongo when I wanted to draw them, because you guys make our days so much better, and this was a small thank you from me. So yeah, once again, thank you.
Oh, it's so sweet. Thank you. It just when I saw that, it was just so touching. Thank you. I really appreciate it, Funky.
You're so welcome. Yeah.
Touching brings me to touch.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's
Rebecca doesn't know the songs yet.
Becca.
I'm organizing the computer so that I can see the comments and all the stuff, because by my phone I just can't see it. So I'm sorry for moving so much.
That's okay.
Well, this is fun. So you guys do this once a week? Is that what goes on?
Yes, that's how it is.
Nice.
Usually.
Well, congratulations on your show.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So, yes. So moving on, you know, so how is it, let us talk about Rendezvous and how did it start, what was your idea behind it and, you know, did
Well,
you,
the
how did it begin?
the many of my friends during this whole lockdown, the whole isolation, I call it isolation 2020, and many of my friends and just people I know of, and I'm not necessarily friends, but many artists, really in all
Right,
mediums, are because everybody is kind of locked down and isolated. They started reaching out, doing what they do, doing these live things.
right,
And I thought it was so cool. I mean, some of them were, some of the folks out there really have to play live to make a living. And that's extra hard now because there isn't any of that. So,
right,
so they were having to try and, generate some money via the tip jar kind of thing that Facebook puts up on the page and all that. And they were trying to get by in a time that was just really tough for them. And then there were
right,
others that were perhaps with more flexibility that were just wanting to reach out and give what they do to people
mm-hmm,
that are locked up in their houses.
right,
And we were seeing this, and it was so charming. I just really thought it was just great, just wonderful for people to be able to and then want to do that and set up and do it. And I was talking with a couple of friends of mine that are really good friends and involved in the industry locally and nationally. But the we were talking about it, and I was just saying how great it is. And one of the gentlemen, Raymond Hayden, Raymond and Cedric are friends of mine who are brilliant in their own mediums. And the Raymond said, he said, well, maybe you should do that. And
mm-hmm,
I said, oh yeah. I mean, I said, what's involved? And I thought about it because I have the piano and the studio available to me. And
right,
it just I said, yeah. And we thought about it and talked about when and what it meant, and it was coming up to Easter. I said, well, why don't we start Easter? Because people can't go out. I mean, so whatever they were going to do on Easter, they're not now. So, and it was just a few days away. And Raymond said, yeah, okay. And there's home. And and then we talked about it, and Raymond put together, the Facebook Live invite kind of thing. And I said, well, what do we do? He said, when? And most musicians do it at night, 7 or 8 o'clock, because it's
right,
kind of when they're awake. And
Yeah.
and I thought, well, since everybody is locked in, I mean, let's do a morning show. And I said, let's
hmm.
just go to Breakfast with Brooke. And he laughed.
Oh,
So that's what it became. And he did a little. Cedric shot a picture for me, and
right,
then did a little work on it to present it as a cover. And Raymond did the little event thing to get it going. And I said, well, listen, I got nothing to do, and I play every day anyway, so let's do it every day.
wow,
And that's what we've been doing, with a handful of days off for projects I have to do or what have you, or projects that are in the studio. But basically, we've been going forever, every day. And it's just been so inspiring. It's just been amazing. I've loved every minute of
yeah.
it.
Oh, we love it too. And just for our viewers, this is the 70th day anniversary pic that Brooke shared, you know, on his Facebook from the rendezvous sessions. It's amazing.
that piano is that the studio has is just an amazing piano. I don't know if any pianists are listening, but they'll appreciate that when you can get your hands on a magnificent instrument. It's just,
Wow.
it is wow. It's a total wow factor. And
We love the sound of it.
oh,
It's
thank you.
right into the feels.
Oh, thank you. I love the sound and feel of it too, and I of course I play hours on it every day, so I'm in touch with it. But that
Right.
particular I've played many a piano through the years in studios, and that's one of the
Right.
finest pianos I've ever played. So I'm just honored to be able to have it be my main ride, every day. It's really cool.
So that's your main piano now?
Yeah. And
So
if you
how
think
long
about it
has
this way, think about it this way: if
yeah.
you're a race car driver, okay, and
Mm-hmm.
you go to the track, and maybe it's a new track, and those tracks that have that steep bank and all that stuff for fast cars. And so what drivers do is they drive around it to get to
Right.
know the pavement. They drive around it to get to know the bank and get to know the turns and whatever. They become familiar with it, and then they practice on it. And
Right.
it's an important part of knowing where you are and what you're doing and what you got. And
That's true.
so for me, if I was sitting on that track in a car and I was going to go
Mm-hmm.
drive around it in a 1972 Volkswagen,
Mm-hmm.
I would get to know the bank. I would get to know how rough the ground was, and I'd get to
Right.
know the turns and the whatever, and the potholes or the problem or the things that I'd
Right.
have to be careful of. And then I come back
Right.
and stop, but I wouldn't be prepared to give that thing a run
Right.
for the money for the race. I'd have to drive around that same track in
Right.
for
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
really fast in a high tech, high performance machine, so I would know the track then from that aspect. And the same is true going into a studio. So I'm double thankful that I can spend my hours on a Ferrari.
Yeah.
So that when I go
That's so cool.
into a studio to play something they've got a Steinway or a Yamaha that's a beautiful instrument. I can sit
Oh
right
yeah.
down to it and I'm not struggling with it. I understand it.
Right. That's true. It's an amazing instrument though, yes. And we love the sound of it, and whenever I guess Funky will relate to it and even Becca will relate to it, uh your rendezvous sessions are, it's whenever we enter or we click the video link and we enter into your live session, it's like we have entered another place. It's so serene, it's so soulful, it's so wonderful, and it's just it's a paradise. It's really a paradise. And you guys, you're watching, and if you haven't watched any of Brooke's rendezvous sessions, we have already put the link in the description of this video. Do go ahead and check out Brooke's Facebook page and his rendezvous sessions. And also, Funky, you have made a Facebook page. You want to go ahead and describe about that?
Man, that's
Yes,
so
I
cool.
have a page. I have a page about Brooke's rendezvous sessions. I plan on posting. I plan on posting every day, like whenever these sessions happen. I'm posting about it as an event, and then whatever Brooke talks about in the rendezvous, we're gonna talk about that. And all the people who are watching the rendezvous are free to always post about it, to comment what they think of it. So yeah, like we're just there to enjoy it and love it. So yeah.
Yes,
And I
that's
so
true.
appreciate it. Thank you, Funky. It's just so cool.
You're so welcome.
You're the coolest.
You're
So I have to show you. This is for my Swedish friends. I don't recommend that you put lutefisk in your coffee
Ah,
because
why not?
you'd vomit.
what? Why so? Oh God.
Why it would make us vomit?
Because have you
What's
ever
that?
smelled? Have you ever opened up a can of lutefisk and smelled it?
No.
No, really?
Don't.
It might kill you.
It is like spoiled fish.
But you drink this coffee?
That's my coffee in there. It's not this. But this is a funny haha because all of my
Alright.
Swedish friends look at that and laugh because they know darn well lutefisk. I mean, maybe you guys in each of your countries have some item of food that just smells horrible.
Yeah, that's true.
And you don't.
That's right.
But if it's your culture, maybe you can plug your nose. Or it's
That's
part
right,
of,
that's
it's
right.
okay. You can do it at the one holiday a year that it's traditional to eat that garbage, and
Mm.
and so you do it. In fact, you might even like it. I mean, some people like some of the cheeses, the stinky cheeses. They like that stuff, And
That's
some
true.
people like lutefisk, but boy, if you're not familiar with it, be ready.
Since you said Swedish, maybe we should ask Ryan Roxy about it. Since he is in Sweden right now.
They would know
Maybe.
well about lutefisk. So
Sure.
what are your weird foods that that other people probably wouldn't even go near? I mean, do you have some stinky foods that you eat on a special occasion?
Let me. I
can't
have
think
to.
of
That.
anything.
Yeah, same thing here because here basically in India it's like we have much delicious and sweet food on a special occasion or a festival, and so I
Not
can't
the
really
stinky
think of
stuff.
anything like that. No.
Well, maybe the
But
Swedes are just weird.
oh yeah,
Maybe they're weird. I mean,
Yes.
I love them. I have a lot of Swedish friends, but some of them are weird.
oh yeah,
And
but this is really fun. Yes, exploring cultures.
yeah,
Have you guys ever tried cooked cabbage?
Oh yes,
No.
Really?
we have it
Yeah.
like on a regular basis here.
I'm
Oh
okay
my
with it.
God. I don't like it at all. At all.
There's
Oh, I
here
don't like it too.
here in my city and on my state, there's a little fruit that is yellow and like a little circle, and it has like little how can I say it can hurt you if you eat like like a normal fruit because it's I really forgot the name, but it can hurt you
Spicy?
if you don't. Yeah, spiky. So if you don't be careful, you will hurt yourself. But there is like a lot of
Ginger?
people here. No, it's called piki, and
Okay.
it's disgusting. I really don't like it. But my father, for example, loves it. He really does. And when he does, when he's cooking here and he takes it and cook it, the smell of this gets all around the house and it's horrible. Oh my God, it smells like I don't even know, but it's really bad, you know. But some people like it, but I don't know how, but they do. It's crazy.
Brooke, welcome to Funky TV, the VoiceIt Show. This is how we have the conversation.
This is good. Thank you again for inviting me.
Sure.
You're always
So,
welcome.
yes,
Yeah.
anytime. So, let me come back to hello there, Mr. Bongo.
Again?
Hi again.
I know he's been feeling ignored.
How are you?
That's okay.
Are you feeling outcast?
Yeah. I feel pretty good.
You don't feel so?
I feel pretty good.
See, you're on screen. Wait. You're on screen right now.
It's okay.
You want your name shown. Wait. Oh, he's gone. Oh my God.
He gets a little shy
no.
sometimes.
He gets a little shy. God, I missed the opportunity.
So are you guys, you're musicians.
Pretty
Funky
much,
plays
but
guitar. You play guitar. Becca, what do you play?
I don't play anything. I sing. I'm a singer. I can't play anything.
Well, that is huge. Your instrument is inside you. You're lucky. I got to carry mine.
Thank you.
Well, cool. So a bunch of musicians. Can I hear your music somewhere? Is it up and up there?
Who? I or Becca?
All of you, or collectively. Have you put your material out on the?
No, not yet. No, not yet.
Well,
yeah. Becca, go first. Yes.
Well, my material, I don't really have like songs that I've done by myself or I wrote it, but I do covers of music, famous musics, or I love pop music, and I also I told this sometimes here on Funky TV, that is, I don't really like Brazilian music because some years ago, people started like changing the way they are doing the music, and the music, it's not like the same as used to be. It's not that good anymore. It's I said that it's trash, honestly, and it's not like really good music, like MPB, that is popular Brazilian music, like Tom Jobim, Caetano Veloso, and others that are incredibly good at the music. They play blue, bossa nova, and it's just beautiful, and I really appreciate it too. And yeah, I like to sing that type of songs, and I also like to sing international songs, like from US or something like that, because for me it's international, right? But like I said, I love Michael Jackson. I do really like rock, and yeah, that's the songs that I like to sing. Yeah.
Cool.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And it's the same. It's not the same thing about me though, but I have played and I have actually performed a gig or two when I was in college and I was studying, and I have played in front of an audience, but I haven't put out my stuff as a recording or something. but I do put my post my videos or something now and then.
Nice.
So yes, I'm still learning, and I'm very fortunate to find myself a guru I was always looking for. That is Ryan Roxy. Now that I'm in Roxy Guitar Army, so you know that's a great thing that I'm learning. And as well as playing and learning, is the things are going simultaneously hand in hand. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do post a video or two, and but I haven't really recorded or song. Although I was gonna collaborate with an Australian friend of mine on a song of Ryan Roxy, and we are gonna do a cover of a song, and we were gonna put it out, but it got delayed just because of me, because I got caught up in the show a bit, and so I'm gonna put it out soon, very soon.
Oh, great.
So
I look forward to hearing it.
yes, oh sure, that would be a honor. So yes,
And Funky's got a new
awesome.
guitar.
Oh yeah.
Do. Um, but I'm still learning the chords, and I don't know how to play any songs or anything. But yeah,
Mhm.
I'm still learning.
Yeah. Well, it's a beautiful thing. At any level we are, whenever, whatever, just never stop.
Yes,
Yeah.
but you know what? I really want to say this, and it's like when you're here, and us, especially us three of us, when we are talking like music to you, and we are saying like we do stuff or play stuff or sing something, it's like a lamp describing what its brightness or light is in front of a sun. So, so it's just I want to put that out. So because you're
Well, I would
such an incredible and a great artist, so
thank
we're
you. Well,
nowhere in front of you.
I would add that that lamp and that sun share the same light.
Oh, see, that's so
There's
great of
no
you.
difference.
Thank you so much.
It is
So great
endless.
of you.
Just realize it's never over. I mean, I have, yeah. Have you ever heard the phrase "practice makes perfect"?
Of course.
Yeah, it's a phrase
Yes.
that I remember hearing all growing
Oh yeah,
up.
that's true.
Practice makes
Yeah,
perfect.
makes
Well,
man
no,
perfect. Yeah,
no. Practice makes better
that's true. Oh yes.
because
Wow.
it's endless. It is endless. I heard somewhere that some old guy was being interviewed, some famous cellist, and he was old as dirt. And somebody was interviewing him for a music something. I don't even remember the situation, but what I remember is that this kid to him, because this old guy was in his 90s, and
Ah,
the guy, I said, well, what's your days? How do you do? What are the rigors of your days, and what are you doing with your music? And he said, well, I practice every day. And the kid,
uh-huh.
or whoever, probably wasn't a kid, but it was to him. Uh, he said, why? I mean, what? You're a master. What, you don't have to practice? And he said, oh yeah, I do. I hope it makes me better. Oh, I just
Yeah,
love that, because that is so
that's
true.
profound.
If
Yeah.
I don't play, in a day or two, I notice it. And
Mm.
there's another famous saying, I don't remember where it came from, but the old master was saying, well, if I don't practice every day, I notice it. Right? Tomorrow I'll notice it. If I don't practice for 2 days, my peers around me will notice it. And if I don't practice for 3 days, my audience will notice it.
Wow,
Now, so that's a
that
commitment.
is so profound. Wow, that
And I
is
get
just.
it. Especially the older I get, I have to keep my fingers,
I
flying
just have
and stick.
goosebumps right now.
So practice every
No.
day. Sing every day, play guitar every day, play guitar every day, get that collaboration going.
Sure.
End of speech.
Oh
Well,
God.
so
But
you said
yes.
play guitar every day to me. Actually, um, my how do you say it? My priority is singing actually,
Oh, no. Oh,
and
and
playing the guitar is just like a side hobby. So yeah, I'm a
you have a
singer
beautiful
So
in
voice.
front of
playing
everything
your
else.
guitar is my thing. She's saying, "Oh, I
Funky.
pointed in the right direction." She sings, and you know
Beautiful.
this thing with
I've heard
the
some. I've
this
heard some of
service.
you. I've heard some of your recordings, Funky. You have a beautiful voice.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Yeah.
I've heard
that's
it.
true.
So let's talk about. You said you have some stories related to Bob Marley.
Bob
Yeah.
Marley. I was gonna come there. Awesome.
Well, back
But
in the
yes.
middle 70s, Bob Marley came through the States for the first time. And some friends of mine were involved in getting him here. So
Mm-hmm.
it was after, I don't know if you know any history of Marley, but he was always very political and very outspoken. And it
Right.
caused him problems in Jamaica at home, where there was a rather infamous time where uh, people, the federales or some associated gang of characters, came in and into their complex, the Marley complex, and opened fire, tried to take them out, and missed, thank goodness. And so they got out of town. They didn't want to hang out there, you know. So they I believe they went to London, and somewhere in that time frame was the album Exodus was written, Movement of Jah People. They got out of
Yeah,
Dodge.
yeah, yeah.
So I mean, so they had to,
Oh, yeah.
and so this tour that they were on was behind the Exodus album. So it was that era. And they came through Canada and then down the west coast. Canada is just a hair north of us. Vancouver, BC is about 3 hours drive to the north. So Canada, we're way
Mm-hmm.
up in Seattle, Washington. Seattle's up in the northwest corner of the States, all the way up, butted up to Canada. And beautiful part of the world. You have to come visit. I'll be your guide.
Sure.
And
That's
the
that's just fabulous.
you just have to. You're very welcome to stop by and hang out.
Thank you
Sure.
But
so much.
Thank
so
you.
they
We'd love to say hi to Mr. Bongo.
oh yeah,
Oh, here he is.
not now. You stay down. He so they came through. We were on. We were invited to open for the band, and they came through.
Mhm.
They came across Canada to the west,
Mhm.
and then down the coast. And we joined them in Vancouver, and went down the coast, did 2, 4, 6 dates with them, and it changed my life. It was just amazing. One,
Wow.
they were great and soulful, and it's got that funky cut time groove that has this. So it's just got everything. And the ladies,
Right.
the trio of ladies called the I3, one of them was Bob's wife. They were beautiful. They were just lovely singers. And the whole thing was, you could feel the family in it. I mean, it felt like a tribe. It was so cool. And I remember that there were several stories all during that, but they were not at ease. They were kind of nervous because they had just gone through a lot, and so they were on edge really. And it took them a while for us all to collectively relax and know that, you know, we're just here to make music. We were honored to be with them. We opened up, did half hour, 40 minutes in front of their show, and the band was really good. It was really funky. So we did our job well for them as far as warming up the crowd and getting the crowd going. And of course, but everybody within earshot was here for Bob Marley. We were too. So we weren't there trying to upstage anybody. We weren't trying to claim any reason for being there, except really glad we were and waiting for Bob Marley. And so it was just so magical. And as soon as we got done with our set, we strike our gear and go sit in the wings, behind the monitor mixer, and listen to Bob Marley and the Wailers go on forever. It was just magic. And the interesting thing about, there's several kind of, they show up early in the day to get on the stage into the theaters and hang out and eat and carry on and do their sound check, and they're very relaxed, taking their time, and eventually we'll get a sound check in, but it's really for them, so they're for them to get comfortable in the space. And the I3s, well, several stories, but what I noticed once they got playing and in concert, several things. One, they were one of the quietest bands I ever heard on stage. No, I mean, just very. Wow. And they played through small amps, and the loudest thing on stage, I mean, they were in big theaters, big opera houses and big theaters, and
right.
So it got plenty loud if you wanted it to be loud. And of course it was loud out front because they had the PA out front. But on stage it was very quiet, and the loudest things on stage were the kick drum,
right. Right.
And a little bit of scratch on Marley's guitar.
Right.
And the ladies and all the vocals, Bob's vocals and the I3. That was the loudest thing on stage. Everything else was under that and kind of percolating underneath it. You could hear it, but it wasn't rock and roll kind of volumes at all. And that was an era where everything was loud. In the middle late 70s, everybody had a stack of Marshalls or two.
Oh yes,
and they were turned up. But not Marley. It was like it was kind of like a country band where they come into town carrying a guitar, rent a little Fender amp, plug it in and go. And so that was interesting. And the other thing is that the first song of the set was Marley. They'd come on, a place would go nuts, just nuts, and they'd stand up, and Marley would do about a 5-minute Rastafarian speech, a religious speech.
Oh.
And he'd go on and rattle through it, and then the first song they did, they'd kick into "Get Up, Stand Up." I don't know if you know the song. Get up, stand up.
I'm gonna check it. Yes.
Stand up for your rights. Great, all the stuff's great. I mean, I know every song. But get up, stand up was always his first. Get up and stand up for your rights. And the place would go nuts. I mean, it never stopped going nuts. And so everybody stands up, gets up, and stays up for the whole concert dancing. It was so cool.
Wow.
And we're dancing over here in the wings. Everybody's dancing. Everybody on stage, everybody in the house, everybody was dancing. It was
wow.
But some other thoughts. There's a bunch of little moments I remember because it was just so special. One was, here was a fella that was writing his own material, and let me see. Oh, I'm gonna get my charger.
Sure.
Oh, sure.
Let's see, is this it? No. Don't go away.
Sure. Okay. So by the time Brooke finds this charger, let's just, thank, it's gratitude time. Funky, you wanna go ahead?
Sure. But before
So
I actually do this, I cannot control anything. Yeah.
that's
So
all right.
the people who are on my Patreon account or patrons, we really
Yeah,
appreciate your support, your help. So thank you so much. Eh?
yeah. Thank you so much for you know our patrons. A big shout out to you guys, and thank you so much for supporting us on Patreon. Joanne Leviton, Gloria Salinas, Abby Franklin, Amy Parody, Adam Gorak, Shelley O'Neill, who's our newest patron. Thank you so very much. You guys are really, really, really amazing. Thank you so very much for supporting us on Patreon. Moving on, Funky, go ahead.
So tomorrow is a very special day because tomorrow is in the trenches with Ryan Roxy. Um, it's gonna be an amazing
Yes,
episode with a very special guest. Yeah, special guest who is very
yes,
special. Um, so please,
yes.
if you do watch it, it's gonna be amazing as always. It's Davy Johnston. Um, it's
Of Elton
tomorrow,
John,
Tuesday,
and
June
it's
30th,
gonna be a huge,
12 p.m. EST and
yeah,
9 p.m.
9
PST.
a.m.
9
PST.
a.m. PST. Yeah, please
So
do
do
watch
not
it.
forget, yes, we are there,
We're
and
gonna
you
be
be
there.
there too in the trenches with Ryan Roxy. Uh, Tuesday, 30 June, 12 p.m. EST, 9 a.m. PST. Becca is there, Funky is there, I am there. We are there in the trenches, guys.
You're gonna
Don't
be.
forget to be in the trenches with Ryan
And
Roxy,
yeah,
and
before we continue,
also,
please subscribe to a friend of our show, Mike Husnick. He has a podcast called Pink Sock Podcast. He's doing an amazing thing. He's
yeah,
eighth episode is gonna be on Saturday. Um, the things he does is just amazing. I'm impressed. It's so fun. I watch every show, and please go subscribe. We thank you. So yeah, please do.
subscribe to Mike Using on YouTube, and don't forget to watch Think Sock Podcast. Mike Usnick, we love you, buddy.
We do.
Alrighty, so let's get back. Brooks back with his charger. Hello there.
Hey. Wow. So
So,
you got Davy on from the early Elton band.
oh
Exactly.
yes, that's true.
Russ, but
Ryan
Ryan.
has him.
Cool.
Yes, we're so
Guys, so Mike Yuznik said it's on Sunday this week due to the 4th of July. It's not
oh,
gonna be on
okay.
Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so there is a
Yeah.
correction then. So it's on Sunday, guys. Take note. Alrighty, so let us continue with the Bob Marley story. And just to it's wow, I mean watching him live, I have just seen this since childhood. I have just seen a poster of Bob Marley, and it really was crazy for us to even have a poster of him, and it we were just crazy about Bob Marley. And even though we to be honest, I haven't listened to any of his records, but this poster of him, it just had an influence on us. Don't know we don't know how, but it was just so influential. But you got to be with him, and that's just, so amazing. And
They had
wow.
they had an interesting thing. You're familiar, and I'm sure many of your listeners are, that
Yeah.
in modern recording technique, you often will double things. You'll
Yeah,
stack sounds on top of something.
that's true.
You'll
Yes.
complex the sound that way. And if you want to, you add whatever. And there's just the sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want. But back then, it was a different. Everything was analog. There wasn't the digital push a button and double stuff. You had to do it. You had to stack the part in real time by playing it again,
Mm.
either on another instrument or another octave or another whatever. And
Ah.
and live, the one of the famous aspects of the Marley Band, besides his voice and his songs, were the ladies, the I3. They were just the beautiful background singers. And
Wow.
but the bass lines, the bass, boom, 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 those great bass lines that were signature in every song. And they were often the intro. There were certainly substantial elements of every section. And
Right.
the famous bassist that was with him in the Wailers forever. He played there was an old amp back then, is way before your time, but it was called the Olympic 360. Is that what it was? Anyway, the 360, I think. And it was a great big
Uh-huh.
18-inch speaker, which is just,
Mhm.
you almost don't hear it. You feel it. It goes.
Oh.
So especially if you're right next to it, bass waves take a long time to repeat themselves. So you don't
Right.
really hear a big fat bass unless you get back a ways from the speaker
Right.
or the
Right.
stage. You get away from the stage. It's like with all of the big rock concerts we've stood in front of, when we get up real close to the speakers, we feel the
Right.
bass, but not like we do if
Yeah.
we get back 50 feet or 100
Yeah.
feet.
That's
Then
true.
boom, then
Yeah.
we really feel it. And
Yes.
so standing in the wings to Marley's band playing, the bass I happened to be on the side where the bass was just because I like that. And you could almost not hear the bass. It was just
Right.
But what you could hear was they had one of the other Wailers was a guitar player,
Uh-huh.
and his job
Right.
was to just play the bass line.
Mm-hmm.
So he
Mm-hmm.
would coo, 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 coo.
Oh. Yeah.
So the two of them
Okay.
together, there was the definition, and then there was this pool of mud that was just heavenly. And
Right.
it worked really well out in the theater. The effect was amazing. It put this huge pool of tone underneath everybody,
Right.
and all this activity was up here. So that activity, like his part, that was doubling the bass line. Marley's everything in this range you could hear clearly. So their mix naturally
Right.
live was magic. It was so cool.
Wow.
And I remember
And
the kid that was the guitar player playing the bass lines backstage,
uh-huh.
Before, during, after, whenever, hanging out. He complained about it. He was bored. He said, "I don't want to just play the bass lines. I want to solo." And
Oh man.
and Marley's, "I'm here just to play the bass lines, and I don't want to do that." And I remember thinking then, and especially now, I said, "Man, you are playing the bass lines to Bob Marley's songs,
Marley.
and you're complaining about it?
Insane. Yeah.
You're a lucky man." And to this day, I remember him. He wanted to solo. It was if he felt like he had, he had his hands tied or something. But I respectfully disagreed with him.
Oh.
Exactly.
That's true. And and did they have in the ears at that time? I don't think so. Or did they like
No,
the earphone kind of thing? No,
no,
right?
just monitors on,
No,
wedges and side fills on stage.
right. Oh, God. But it
Yeah,
was so natural, I would guess. It's completely a different feel. And how did you feel? I guess I mean, when you're there standing in the wings or watching them or watching the sound check. How was that feeling?
oh, it was great. It was fun to see. They're very family. You really felt the family. There were kids everywhere. I'm sure Ziggy and some of
Oh,
the other kids were there too. And
oh,
they were probably just, 5 years
right,
old. So it was a family. There
right.
was one kid's job. The Marley, their religion was the Rastafari,
Hmm,
and part of that religion is that they smoke their ganja. They smoke pot day and night, and
right.
they have that religious. Is it impunity? I'm not sure what the word is, but they're they can legally partake in their religious
Okay,
stuff, and
right.
so I remember we had one floor that was, our dressing rooms, and then they had their floor that was their dressing rooms. And then,
Hmm.
and so people were just come and going all day. I mean, we get there like first thing in the morning and we wouldn't play until 8. I mean, so we're just hanging out. And,
Right.
and down on their floor in one of their rooms, dressing rooms, was his work table. And it was a variety of a kid. Oh, it was manned by a kid, one of the boys, and
Right.
they take turns and whatnot. But there was always a kid in there whose job it was.
Uh-huh.
On the table was this great big pile of ganja, big pile of pot. I mean, it was like up to the kid's head. And then there were
Oh,
big tobacco leaves over here,
right.
and
Right.
then a little thingy of water. And the kid's job was he'd take one of the tobacco leaves, great big sheet,
Mm-hmm.
and get his water and kind of get it a little moist, and then reach up here and pull down this big bud of ganja, and you break it up like this, get the sticks out, and
Mm-hmm.
and you just clean it up, and then you get some more, and then you go along, and then he'd start rolling it up, kind of like a trunk,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a one of those things, and uh and
Right.
and then he'd get his water, and he'd get it in this big spliff about this tall, and he'd hand
Right.
it to each member of Marley's band. And
My God.
I mean, this, and then he'd just keep going. That was his job. He would just keep cranking this out because pretty soon everybody would keep coming back and keep coming back, and all day. If I got anywhere
The
near the
place
tip,
would be
I'd
so
be asleep.
smoky. God.
But they've been doing it all their lives, forever, every day. So whatever that means. But
That's true.
I
Right.
just got a kid. I'm sure one of those kids was Ziggy. I've never met Ziggy. One of these days, I'm gonna
Right.
have to ask him if he was one of the kids sitting in that dressing
Mm.
room during Bob Marley tour. And I bet he was. I bet he was. He'd laugh that I knew that too.
Oh
The
man.
other thing about the I remember is in big theaters, like they have a stairwell that's goes up. It's on the side of the theaters. Big cement stairwell
Hmm.
that's for fire exit.
Uh-huh.
It just goes all the way down to the basement and goes all the way up to the top floor, and
Right.
they're beautiful echo chambers. They're cement and steel, and
Wow.
I remember hearing the I3, the ladies,
Uh-huh.
singing, warming up and singing harmonies. And I stepped on the floor above them, I stepped into that
Mm.
stairwell. And
Mm-hmm.
it was like I
Right.
walked into heaven. because they were
Wow.
harmonizing in that stairwell, that cement stairwell. And it was just like this endless
Harmonizing. Wow.
and they were warming up and they were singing parts and they were just spending their time there and getting in tune. And I started singing
Right.
along with them up my one story above them. I started singing along with them, and
Wow.
hey, they go, hey, and I'd look over the
Huh.
railing and I'd wave at them, and they'd giggle and laugh and just keep going and let me sing along with them. It was so nice.
How cool. How cool.
Uh,
That's really nice. That's really nice. Oh man.
I could
I
go
wanna,
on.
Okay.
I could keep you all day.
Oh God. You could. And we seriously are losing track of time. And it's
Well, quick thought. I'd
I,
like to something I've taken the weekend. Our rendezvous has been on pause until tomorrow. We can pick it up again
yes.
tomorrow on Tuesday, and
Yeah.
I've started the mixing process. I've recorded everything that I've written and played, and am still writing stuff. And I'll record that as soon as I write it. And
Yeah.
and I've been going. So this is the weekend we're starting the mix on it. We're starting mixing. Started on Friday night, and
Amazing. Yeah.
so I'm sorting, going through it. And because everything is live, there's no editing to this. There's no punch in. There's no fix. It's like in
That's
modern
true.
recording, you can go back in and find something and take that out and put it in again and do it better or different or whatever you want. So but in live recording, that's hard to do because everything's blending together. And so I'm not trying to. So what that means is that I've got to pick a particular performance that feels good, I like. And then also I do write from the first note to the last note. And Lord knows I try, but sometimes, some wayward note will creep in there. So I'm going back through and I'm listening to every take of the songs I want on the album and finding the best one. And it's really fun. And in the process, I'm hearing conversations that we had, and it's so cool. And I was telling Funky that one of the songs, one of my favorite songs, and one of everybody's favorite songs is called "My Friends." And every day is different because I'm just coming up with stuff, whatever. And there was one recording of it that is at the moment the best, and to my ears, as far as feel and it just everything, continuity and fun and the whole thing, and my groove. I mean, I've got to be bass, drums, piano, everything. And
Yeah.
I found the one that rocks, and it just happens to be one of the take that I mentioned Funky in.
Thank you so much. Like, you have no idea how much that means to me.
Well, that just came.
Yeah.
I mean, it just came out. I mean, I wasn't planning on it. I just happened to be going along, and boom, 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 and all of a sudden, I was talking to you.
See?
So
Oh, great.
But so that's what I've been doing. So I apologize for not doing our rendezvous every morning. We'll start tomorrow. Again, we'll get back to daily tomorrow. And
Oh, that's really amazing.
the
And
rendezvous are starting to, I'll have to put them on pause because as we're starting, the city and state around me is starting to relax their isolation. They're relaxing the lockdown. So the studio, being a professional recording studio, has to do sessions to make money. And I've been it's been well timed for us in our rendezvous to spend all of this time because it's completely my space. Nothing's going on. But so as things start happening, I'll have to. It's like tomorrow or today. Today is an orchestral recording in there. They're recording a small orchestra. So
yes, that's right.
yeah. So as that starts happening, I'm going to keep with trying to do is the daily rendezvous, but something might be scheduled where I'll need to put another day on pause and then pick it up the
Sure.
day. So I just have been keeping everybody aware of that as we go, so they know what the schedule is. But I'm excited about the
Yes.
record, and I have a brilliant friend and bassist, great bassist, but producer engineer extraordinaire. And he is helping me on this, and it isn't a grand mix job. It's just piano and vocal, so it's not like we're mixing a whole band.
Oh,
But
we'd love to know his name.
His name is Gary Shelton,
Ah.
and just one of the guys around town that is always busy because he's just so good. And I've done a lot of work with him over the years, and he handles me and my piano really well. So I went to him knowing that because he just does a good job.
Right.
So he said yes. He said, I want to do it. So he's doing it, and we're in the process right now. I've sent him the best takes I've got, and what we're going to do is mix and master 2 full albums and then release them one at a time. So we'll have, because there's enough material that I've written and older material that I've pulled up to rework and be able to do solo. That I don't know. There's a good 35 songs that are new, and
Wow.
all of them are recorded. So I'm finding the best performances thereof, and whatever the best performance is of whatever song, that's the one that I want to put on the album. So I'm letting the performance dictate really the song list, as well as my choice of songs wanting to put on there. So it's a little bit of both.
And sorry to interrupt.
Mm-hmm.
And mind that Brooke is saying he's gonna choose his best performance. Now he can say that, but we as an audience, even if he plays a note, we know it's best. Funky.
Exactly. You can say that again.
And since we are on the rendezvous, let me share a screen with you very quickly. And we are not the only one who enjoy the rendezvous. There are a couple of friends who also like to enjoy Brooke's rendezvous. Here they are.
Yeah, I live in a weird neighborhood.
Yes,
Totally.
they really like to enjoy the rendezvous, and yes, they peek in. They actually peek in.
I have to tell you. I have to tell
Yes.
you that on some of the times I've posted that, and just having fun, of course.
Yes.
I've gotten some people who don't know that I live in Capitol Hill in Seattle is a neighborhood that's kind of the counterculture. It's kind of like Greenwich Village, or it's kind of like Soho, or in your cities, like Funky in Sarajevo. Right. Is there an artist neighborhood?
Artist neighborhoods. I don't know, maybe.
Artists live, and it's kind of like, you know what I mean by counterculture. It's a melting pot of artists and so it's different than the suburbs where maybe it's corporate or upper middle class.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Well, Capitol Hill is that neighborhood in Seattle, and so it's very urban. It's just up the hill, a mile away from downtown, so it's just lovely as far as in the middle of everything. And so it's not rural at all. And I got a kick out of when I posted those pictures that you just showed of the animals poking their noses into the kitchen windows. I sometimes would get, people don't know where I live, but they say, "Oh, that's so beautiful. You have a beautiful yard. You're so lucky to live there."
Yeah.
Well, it's not really my yard. I have to explain myself without, I don't want to be rude.
Yeah.
But
No.
it's not my yard. I don't live in the
It's fine.
country. And the big bear is not my neighbor, really. I'm just kidding. And I don't have giraffes poking their heads into my windows.
Yes. It's for fun, folks.
And but I've just so been loving this project. Back to what you were saying about the why and how it started was because it's an important thing to me to share, and it allows music, or it doesn't allow, music is part of the kind of the
Yeah.
social and cultural tapestry that we are a part of. So it's real important to give it and let it sound and be in the air, and it's just real important to me. And so I'm thankful that this is happening, and I'm able to partake in and participate in the sharing and the
That's
giving.
right. Oh, yes, definitely. And we are really thankful for that, to you, that you're sharing your musical gift with us, and not only with us, with every listener that has listened to you over the years, and not only to Rendezvous. We, we are just really, really, really grateful to you and for everything that you do. Really thankful.
Thank you.
Funky, you want to go ahead and say something?
Well,
Oh,
first I'm
look,
gonna say, Brooke,
who's here?
thank you for being
Oh,
here.
no, someone was
You're
there.
welcome. It's my pleasure. Thank you for asking.
You're
Sure.
always welcome on our show if you feel like doing another episode, or if you wanna
Yes,
do this again.
we
You're
really
always
look
welcome.
forward to do a part two of this, because we do have a lot to talk, and we do have a lot to know about Brooke, and a lot of stories and a lot of questions. So
Well,
if you
and
ever want to,
I would love to, maybe next time we're able to get together, I'd love to be able to play a little bit for you.
oh,
Of
that
course.
would be so lovely. Yes, it would be so
Because
lovely.
this
To
setup,
our
this,
audience, yes,
this setup is pretty
yeah,
simple, so it would be no problem at all.
sure, definitely.
That'd be amazing.
That would be so amazing. And uh, Becca, you wanna go ahead and say something?
Yes, thank you. Also, as they said, thank you so much for being on the show. You're amazing. I've been watching this lives you do, and it's completely amazing. While I'm doing something stressful, I put it on, and everything calms down, and I can relax for a little bit. So thank you for that. You're an incredible artist, amazing musician, and yeah, you're always welcome here.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's true. So
Thank
there we
you.
have it, ladies and gentlemen. That was Brooke Lizotte with us. And yes, there's gonna be a part two where Brooke will play for us too. And yes, don't forget, there is a special guest.
There he goes.
You guys are great. Thank you so much. I just made my day. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you made
Oh
our
no,
day,
yes,
as
sure.
always.
Thank you, and you made our day too. Definitely, definitely.
And Becca, nice to
Thank you
meet
so
you.
much. Yes.
Thank you. Nice to meet you too.
How cool is that? And ladies and gentlemen, do not forget to subscribe to Brooke Lizotte on YouTube. That's the channel. That's what his channel is called, Brooke Lizotte. And also, all his socials are mentioned in the description below. His links, his Facebook profile link, his Instagram, his even the funky page that she has recently made, even that is in the description. So do go and watch, do go and watch everything. And Rendezvous starts on Tuesday. So go ahead and watch that definitely. And as we sign off, Funky, you wanna go?
Yeah, the VoiceIt Show. We're on Patreon as well. Here's the link, and you also have it in the description, right? So yeah, once again,
Yes,
thank you all for watching. Thank you to our patrons. Yeah,
yes. And if you feel like writing to us, if you guys have any suggestions or any kind of feedback, do let us know. Write to us at funkytvvoices@gmail.com. And please do not forget to subscribe to our channel. And obviously, thank you so much for watching, everyone. We are really, really thankful to you. And thanks to Brooke for coming on our show and gracing our show by his presence. We are really, really thankful. Thank you, everyone. And like always, keep rocking. And we'll see you next time, okay?
ciao for now.
Ciao for now.
Ciao for now.
See you. Peace.